Hey everybody, I am back. So I don't know how well this is gonna work this time, but my last two live streams on this computer have had issues. Both times I think it was due to user error. Live streaming, a lot of things to configure, right? But enough of that. Instead of doing a questions and answers for this one, I'm going to do a live stream of installing Linux Mint. First, I'm going to show everyone my fancy new intro. Hey, welcome to Bible Tech. You know, you have to have a decent amount. It's so easy, anybody can use. Get a few comments. Somehow, fly one of these. You don't see it, obviously. And if you want to rewind or fascinating. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hopefully this doesn't freeze up like last time. I think that was due to some overclocking. Alright, so let's go ahead and install Linux Mint. Wow, that was easy. Okay, no, it's not installed yet. So this is a virtual machine. It's not a real computer, but functionally, for the purposes of this video, you can pretend like it is. If you've never installed Linux Mint before, this is how you do it. I have a full Linux step-by-step guide that is a lot longer than this is probably going to end up, because that one actually covers all the different issues you can have with actually getting the device booted, getting it installed. This shouldn't have any issues because it's not a real computer. Most of this video is going to be tweaking Mint, so showing you how I set it up for myself and just tons and tons of options that it has. So let's go ahead and get this ball rolling. I'm going to go ahead with the install option. Linux Mint is not only the easiest Linux distro, I would actually say it is the easiest operating system on the planet, depending on what you want to do with your computer. It's the easiest and most stable. I've had Macs, I've had PCs, I've used almost every major Linux distro out there, and some that are not, like Enlightenment, the 13D, DE's OS, I don't know if that's still a thing or not. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool OSs out there, but they're not for everybody. Linux Mint is for everybody, as long as it works with all of your software. So let's get my username going here. It's like Bird Person and Rick and Morty, Testy Testerson. Or should I say Phoenix Person? Alright, test. Username test. Password is test. Oh no, I'm gonna get hacked. And yeah, why not, right? Okay, great. It's installing. The host computer is really fast, thanks to my friend JD. Shout out to JD. He also has a little shout out hidden in the intro if you can find that. And yeah, so we're rocking and rolling. This shouldn't take too long to install. And in the meantime, I think I'm going to share this on my Facebook page. Just take a second here. Ugh, almost lost all my pages. That would have been fun. And my Facebook page is just facebook.com/BibleTech. I almost never post there. I usually just use YouTube, so sorry if you guys get disappointed from that. And I almost never use Facebook anymore. In fact, I disabled it until I accidentally re-enabled it by signing into Spotify. And I have no intention of really using it ever again. My life is just happier that way. Yeah, everybody's a critic. Alrighty, great. So that's shared to my Facebook page. Zzz. And Linux Mint is done installing. That was fast. That's the power of Ryzen, my friends. Ryzen and SSDs. And if you guys have any questions while I'm going on about anything technology related, or just me, I guess, feel free to pop in the live chat, ask anything. And you can ask right where you see Ask Away, wherever that is. Alright, so I'm going to restart the virtual machine now that the install is done. And a lot of people say, Linux Mint is for noobs, you know, advanced users shouldn't use it, blah, blah, blah. That's dumb. Okay, it's dumb. Linux Mint is the easiest operating system in the world. And no one should put somebody down for using it. It's also incredibly powerful. My only real problems with Linux Mint are I wish they had a single button workspace switcher and application finder like GNOME Overview, and they could polish up the themes a little bit better than they do. You definitely use a different icon set and change the system sounds. I think that's it. I mean, since Flatpaks have come out, PPAs aren't a problem anymore. Installing software isn't a problem anymore. I mean, you have app images, Flatpaks, and Linux Mint steps, so it's fine. I mean, I haven't run into any issues. Now, myself, I typically use Linux Mint Debian Edition, so I can get the latest Cinnamon stuff. But really, it doesn't matter too much either way. I could go either way. But I do really, really love they have a Debian Edition, because it makes them not dependent on Ubuntu anymore. And since the Debian Edition has been fine for me, I recommend it. Alright. I'm just going to grab this VirtualBox software driver here. Not VirtualBox, it's GNOME boxes. Don't at me, Oracle. Oracle is the company that makes VirtualBox, and they're very, very litigious, from what I've heard. Alright, well, I don't know what it wants. It's not complaining about that. Alright, well, I'm fine with graphics anyway. First steps in Linux Mint. System snapshots, normally I would definitely do that using the Timeshift app. What I really like about Linux Mint is it basically says, oh, do you want to use this XP mode, or do you want to use this like Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10 mode, / Mac OS mode. And I just, I love that so much. It is ridiculous, because when you click this, and it's just going to change this part. Now it looks like Windows XP, and so many people would love that. So many people would love that if they knew that was an option, and they knew that they didn't have to use the newer formats of things. There's no downside to using this. Just, I mean, as far as the button layouts go, it's not going to limit your access to software, so you basically get to use an XP that is more secure than any Windows distribution ever, without Windows 10 spying, and compatible with almost every software you're going to use. That's Linux Mint, baby. That's why I use it. It's way more stable. It's basically like what would happen if Windows XP and Mac OS, I don't know, Snow Leopard had a baby. It's all good things. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what driver it wants here. Don't actually need the driver, I think. In fact, it may already be installed. I'm noticing shading. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Alright, great. We're all good. Yeah, updates. Let's go ahead and do some updates. Why not, right? Nice thing about Linux Mint is you can update whenever you want, and it's not going to force you to update. That's cool. In fact, you can turn off everything with a few clicks. All updates with a few clicks. Do not recommend it, because the biggest reason people want to turn off updates in Windows is because they break things, and they force you to do them, right? So they can totally break your workflow. With Linux, that's never going to happen. So at most, I would recommend just turning off the notifications for updates, right? And then having time shifts, system backup set up, which is super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Thanks, Ryan George. Or George Ryan. I don't know. The guy has 2 first names. What do you want? Oh. Alrighty. Great channel, by the way. Go to Ryan George on YouTube and give him a sub. Oh, I mute my phone because that irritates people. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and click install updates. I wouldn't do anything in Linux until you install all updates for a couple of reasons. Things just might not work out of the box until you do, as well as they could. Also, if you try and install software on an unupdated Linux install, it just gives you more things to update, because Linux updates almost all of its software at the same time, with maybe the exceptions of like Flatpaks and snaps and app images. But that's a story for another day. Mostly today, I think I'm going to be just showing you guys how to install Brave, my favorite web browser on Linux Mint, and tweak some themes. And I mean, that's pretty much it, because Linux Mint has everything you could need built in, except for like games, right? And those games are available in their software center / app store. So, oh boy. I intend to be doing these lives at least once a week. Hopefully, eventually, I get more viewers. I've only been getting 1, 2 per stream, but hey, could be worse. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Right down there in the chat box. While this update is running, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. Alright, testing. Let's see. Good. Fantastic. Alright, got another viewer. Hi, how you doing? If you have any questions, talk in the chat box, either below this window, or to the left of it, or to the right of it, depending on the computer or phone you're using. And that's right in the chat box. Right here. Today we're going to be we installed Linux Mint. It's mostly just tweaking it. I have other videos on my channel that have more to do with the really long-winded install that everybody needs to know if they haven't done it before. And right now we're just waiting for Linux Mint to finish updating. Now it can take some time, but what's really nice is it doesn't force you to restart. Doesn't force you to update. Now sometimes when you do install all these updates, things may misbehave until you do restart, but it's not forcing you to, right? You still have total control. Linux is an assortment of building blocks. All operating systems are assortments of building blocks, but Linux, unlike other ones, doesn't force you to use any particular Lego blocks, and it doesn't glue them together and then ship it to you and say, hey, look what we did. It's more like they put a nice Velcro adhesive on the side and say, hey, this is how we made it. If you want to tweak it, do whatever you want. And it makes Linux very, very powerful. And it can make things more complicated if the wrong parts or parts that are kind of incompatible are put together. Or if you run into things that you're trying to do that are just more complicated, right? But in most cases, like I said earlier in this stream, Linux Mint is actually the easiest operating system out there once you get used to a few little changes, mostly in how to install software. In most cases, I would avoid trying to install Windows software that's meant for Windows. Well, Linux Mint does come with Wine, or you can install Wine that allows you to run Windows applications. I would try to avoid those things because that software isn't actually made for Linux. I would look for alternatives or the same software with a Linux version. It just messes things up sometimes. A really good exception to that rule is Steam. It's a game client that lets you play all sorts of video games. And not only does it have a Linux version, but it allows you to play Windows games that you can buy in Steam and play them right in Steam using Steam's fork of Wine. And that's meant to work that way, right? There's a lot of developers who put a lot of money into that whole thing, right? Valve, who created Steam, put a ton of money into it to make it work. And the guy who created Valve was one of the initial Microsoft developers or founders or whatever, and he didn't like the way Windows was going. He thought it could be a lot better, so he started putting a lot of money into Steam and Steam for Linux. So thanks to him, a lot of software does run on Linux that wouldn't run otherwise. But if you're just getting started on Linux, trying to just move over all your Windows software is just not the way to go. It's not going to be a good experience. If you do want to and ignore that advice, I'm going to go and reboot here, even though it's not technically necessary. That's okay, right? I mean, it's your choice. Just go to like Wine HQ or Wine HQ DB in like your search engine of choice. Start page is what I use. It gives you Google results without Google tracking and privacy concerns. But and at that website, they will actually show you what software is more compatible than others. So let me show you two websites. I'll show you that. Oh, great. I search for start page and start page. Great. Go away. Alright, so YNHQ, YNHQ.org. That's the website. So basically, you can see all the different types of software that is meant for Windows and how well it runs on Linux. So you have this application database. You can search it and find everything you could ever want to find. And the other one is ProtonDB. And that is Valve's database for software that works in Steam. So what's really cool is the top 1,000 most popular games. You have 70% as gold or higher for functioning on Linux, and those are games that are made for Linux and games that are not. So that's pretty cool. So you can search for those things. Alrighty. Lots of noise back there. Sorry about that. Alright, so yeah. That's that, and let's go ahead and change some themes in Linux here, because I don't like. I'm just gonna hit the start menu equivalent and type the word themes. Whew. I like dark themes. I really, really do. I like the cyan stuff, and I like even the dark mouse and then out of the themes that come with Linux Mint, those are my favorites. The problem is the icons. Linux Mint's team has a thing with actually transforming the icons of software that has really nice icons already. And they kind of make this squircle type square icon thing happen. I'm not really a huge fan of that. So I usually install the Papyrus Icons, and I think you can get them right in their software manager. They're just that popular. Yep, Papyrus icon theme. So I just type in Papyrus in their software manager. Type my password to install it. Wonder if they have my favorite other theme in here too, Plata. No, they don't. But you can get it elsewise. So no, I do not want to quit yet. Icon's not done installing yet. Okay, sorry, buddy. Got a little bit ahead of myself. But yeah, their software manager is great. You can Spotify, Steam, Dropbox, MPV, which was like VLC on steroids, at least as far as just playing video. And GIMP, Sublime, lots of stuff. Really great. And right now I am using Linux Mint Debian Edition, so I'm proving that you can be a content creator on it, at least for some content. So we got that. Let's go ahead and go back to themes. I'm going to show you what I mean about this Squircle stuff. I forgot to turn that to Mint. Why? Aqua. Dark. There we go. Now this star menu thing is darker. Let's change those icons to Papyrus. And now see what I mean? Great little icon right there. And that's very, very close to the normal Firefox icons. And there's tons of different icon sets out there. And I really like how this looks. It's kind of flat, Mac OS-y. Good stuff. By the way, one of the reasons I love Linux Mint over any other Linux distribution is their Nemo file manager. It's a fork of Nautilus file manager that used to be used in GNOME 2. And it retains all those features and tools and adds more, right? And the new Nemo file manager, or the new Nautilus file manager that it was forked off of, they removed so many features. Like, the biggest one that really bothers me is this. I can just start typing, right? Just like in Windows, I can just start typing. Documents, and I can hit enter, and I'm in it. I can go hit the backspace button. I can use the arrow keys. I'm going like this, right? And Nemo on GNOME base distros like Pop! OS or Ubuntu, that is not the case. When you start searching, you're going to be searching your whole computer if you just start typing. Like Control F does in Nemo here. And you'll just start searching your whole computer and it's done. Also, there's tabs, right? So it's like the Windows File Explorer but better. So I can open new tabs really, really easy. And Control W to close those tabs. So really, really cool. Oh, this is still mounted, huh? Should probably unmount that. Drives and shares. There we go. Don't need that anymore. Alright, great. So we got a new icon theme in there. I like it. I love it. And I want to go get Flata. Flata GTK. That'll bring me to the theme page. Now, there's a couple ways to install this. Not all of them good, right? Let's see where the downloads is here. Files, commits. I think it's files. I think it's files what we want. I'm just gonna go here, their archive, and you could just follow these commands here, but everyone thinks that you need commands in Linux to do anything. That's not the case. It's just the easiest way to do it. So I'm gonna do it without a terminal just to prove that I can, right? So I'm on, I think, the Bionic equivalent. So I'm gonna go ahead and click View Package Details. I'm gonna go to Bionic. I'm going to choose Bionic all.deb, the one that ends with Bionic all.deb. And it's save file. I'm going to open that file now. And it says it requires the installation of one package along with it. Sure, install package. Continue. A super secure test password. And you'd be amazed how nice Plata makes Linux Mint look. I'm going to go ahead and close this now because we no longer need it. Yep, goodbye. And we go to themes again. I use Plata Nora Compact. And Same thing for pretty much everything. Platinum Architect. And finally, you guessed it, Platinum. Alright, great. So now we got a nice dark theme. Let's change the wallpaper. And Mint comes with some really nice wallpapers. Really, really nice ones. Can't remember what my favorite one was, though. I want something that kind of shows how nice it looks. Oh yeah, this is one of the best ones. Really, really great. Kind of moody. I like it. And it's just nice. And Plata is kind of based on material design principles that Google came out with. So they're building on the back of some design giants there. And this looks good to me, okay? It may not to you. I just really like dark themes, and this is the theme I've been using on everything for a little while. There's some other themes I like too. I'm not going to go into those right now. Let's see if I can show you the other Plata here. Yeah, so you can do, if you want, you can use the light themes with some dark elements, right? So you don't have to have totally dark themes if you don't want them. And that's okay, you're allowed to like what you want to like. And they even have a light mode for Plata. I actually haven't really seen that, I don't think. So let me go ahead and change to Plata Lumen Compact. Let's see. Plata Lumen. So hey, I mean, if you like bright themes, there you go. Here, let's really do it with a matching wallpaper that's bright. Yay, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing. Sorry guys, I just really like my dark themes. It's easier on my eyeballs. Alright, finally, as promised, I'm going to show you guys how to install Brave, which technically, okay, so you can do this without a terminal, but it is so much easier with a terminal. I'm going to recommend it. And it's unfortunate because you shouldn't need to do it this way. Like if you go to google.com/chrome, I'm going to show you this. And you can just choose to download and install like anything else, just like I did with the Plata theme. But if you go to Brave's website, which is supposedly based, made around the idea of privacy, which you really can't get on any other operating system, like you can on Linux. They treat you as a second-class citizen. They're like, oh yeah, hey, here's these terminal commands. Dude, come on. There's better ways to do it. It's not cool. So again, I don't have to do this on a terminal, but I'm going to just because it's just that much easier. And it's just copying and pasting and pressing enter and typing in password. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. You just copy and paste one line at a time. Copy, terminal, paste. And all this is doing is effectively telling your software manager, hey, look in this new place for software. And I'm going to hit yes or Y and enter when it asks you Y or N. Go ahead and copy this whole line as well. If you don't copy it just right, nothing bad's going to probably happen, but it won't install it, obviously, right? So you just want to copy from the end of each line to the beginning of each line. Which is kind of a pain in the butt, but okay. We're fine. We're going to live. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Paste. And anyone who advocates for privacy is, this is the software to go to because it is Google Chrome with all the Google stuff removed and a ton of privacy features added. So all the Google extensions work, all the Google themes work, and it works great. So you can even cast from it if you enable the cast functionality in your in the browser settings. All right, so Brave is installed. So when I go here, Brave web browser, I can right click on it, add it to my panel. It's like hasta la vista to Firefox. Sorry guys, I'm a fan of you that I used to be for a number of reasons. But hey, I open up Brave and ta-da, right? And it matches your theme. It's great. The first things I do when I do go to Brave is I go to Let's Go here. I'm not going to import from anything. You can import from another browser like your bookmarks, passwords, or whatever. I'm going to choose Start Page as my default. I'm not going to enable rewards. You can if you want. It's like a cryptocurrency thing. I'm going to go to Settings and change a few things. because there are ads built into Brave, which you would think is a bad thing, but it's really not in this case. And you can choose if you want to use the same theme you're using for your desktop by clicking Use GTK. I actually use Classic. I just like the way it looks better for me, especially with the platter theme. It adds like a weird blue border. I'm going to click Show Home button, which by default brings you to like the new tab page. And use wide address bar so this fills up the whole top bar. It looks kind of silly without it. I'm going to show Brave suggested sites and autocomplete suggestions. That's a happy thing. I like it. I'm going to hide the rewards button. Going to scroll down a little here. I'm going to hide Brave Rewards, Binance, and sponsored images. And you can leave sponsored images up, but I've been surprised a few times the kind of ads they have in there, and not that any of them are inappropriate or anything. But once in a while they had like a child's face like in macro, and it was supposed to be like cutesy, but when you have a really big monitor and just like a child's face on your screen, it was very unnerving, right? It's like how little children are walking down hallways in the dark of the night in horror movies and stuff. Not that I watch those, but that's what it's reminiscent of. I just did not like it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just use Brave normally now. And Brave is my favorite web browser, like I said, for a lot of reasons. Everything works in it because most of the web is made for Chrome. And Brave is effectively Chrome. So I have had no issues with it. I think the single thing that I'm able to do in it, which I do not do anymore, is dictate to Google Drive online, where you can just type and it'll transcribe what you're saying. Now, seeing as I want to get away from Google, I'm not using that anyway, right? I used to, though, and if I was writing a book, maybe I would want to use it on a temporary basis, but I no longer want to. Anyway, that is mostly how I customize Linux Mint. I'm going to tweak a few more things here. I'm going to right-click on the menu down here and click Configure. I'm going to use a custom label. They have so many better logos than this. I don't know why they use this one. I'm sorry, guys. I love you, but no, I like this one better. A little bit less green than overall would just make me a happy camper. Now I'm going to right-click on our little taskbar equivalent, click Panel Edit Mode. And these red, green, and blue are zones that you can drag things to. Now, I don't use this Show Desktop button at all, so that's going bye-bye. And I'm going to drag over my application launchers to the center, so it's more dockish, macOS-like. And I'm going to drag my volume indicator all the way over the red zone. Why am I doing that? Because, I'm going to lock this first. Right-click, Panel Edit Mode, Disable. Right-click on this, hit Configure. Oh wait, did I do it wrong? Oh no, I did not. I want to move this over here because when I click Show Song Information in the panel, and use album art as an icon, watch what happens when I go to YouTube here in Brave. I'll set this as default, by the way. So I'm going to go to going to my website, babel.tech in Brave, and I'm going to go to my YouTube channel right here. I'm actually going to see this. I have my, I shouldn't get any feedback here. That was weird. But like, do you see right down here? How there is, it shows right there the video I'm watching, and I can pause it right there and stop it, and it shows me all the information. And the same thing will happen if you install Spotify, so that's why I moved my volume icon over there in Linux Mint and Cinnamon, or just the Cinnamon DE. I just really like how that looks. Well guys, unless all two, now one, of my viewers have any questions, I'm probably going to call it quits for today. I've done 2 live streams that are each about 40 minutes long. Earlier one quit somehow. I think I was using my overclock. But I'm going to end it on the free resources I have on my website. And this isn't like a Dave Ramsey thing, right? I'm not asking, not that I don't like Dave Ramsey, he has a lot of good tips. But I'm not asking for any information. You go to my website, you click things, you aren't going to see an ad. I mean, if there is an ad, it's not going to be a flashing one. It's not going to pop up in your face. Currently don't have any. Eventually I kind of want to. but your information won't be asked for. The only information that's gathered is, ironically, by Google Analytics, which is saying, hey, this person was here and they use this kind of device. And that makes me happy, because then I can see the kind of devices and how many people show up on my website. And my website is far more popular than my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I can show you guys this. I'm going to see if I can show you guys how popular the website is. And that's really my claim to fame. So maybe I'm going to show you that. Hang on. Hopefully the whole stream doesn't go and just die on me, because that would not be a fun day, right? We don't want to do that. It's not cool. Alright. I am minimizing my other stuff. I thought I froze there for a second, but it's my face. Alright, so I'm going to go last 28 days. I'm going to show you guys. No, that's the wrong browser. Let's see. Here's my analytics for my website. So hopefully that sweeping isn't too loud. But as you can see, over the last 28 days, I had 2.3 unique users with 3.1, and these are in thousands, right? 2.3 thousand users on my website, and that's down from like last month or something. 3.1 thousand sessions, which like visits to the website. The most popular pages are my Thinkpad's Buyer's Guide, and the one reason why my Thinkpad's Buyer's Guide is, I'm really sorry to the new viewer for the sound in the background. Somebody's vacuuming, sweeping, whatever, or you call it in your vernacular. My most popular thing is my Thinkpad Buyer's Guide, and that's the last 7 days. I want to show you by the last month. 3,155 people visiting Thinkpad Buyer's Guide. Why is that? The reason is, I have a lot of really, really good resources on there. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my web page here on my new Linux Mint virtual machine. I'm going to show you that Thinkpad's page. I worked for so many hours on this. Now, I was not the original creator of it. Somebody else was, but they just disappeared off the internet one day. And I found them by doing a lot of internet sleuthing, and I said, yo, do you mind if I take the information on your page and update it and host on my own stuff? Because I used it a lot, and a lot of people did. And they said, yeah, it's cool. I asked if they want to be credited. They actually said no. So, okay, I guess. I hope they are proud of what it's become, and I thank them very much for it. I understand if people wanted to, suddenly disappear from the internet. I've done that kind of thing. They're just done interacting with people. But so the Thinkpad Buyer's Guide, why is it a good thing? Well, the Thinkpad is really popular for a lot of reasons. I'm just going to go down this briefly. Why Thinkpad? They're incredibly cheap when you buy a used one. Splash-proof keyboard thanks to drainage holes. Keyboards feel excellent while typing. Yes, even the newer ones. This is important because on a laptop, the only keyboard you're likely going to be using is the one that's attached. And if you do a lot of typing and you start getting carpal tunnel, it's not a fun time, right? And Thinkpad keyboards are second to probably none. Some gaming laptops have mechanical keyboards, but when they're that thin for the laptop, that's not really going to help. I use a mechanical keyboard with MX Brown alternatives, OMUs, and I'm thinking about doing light blues at some point. But when I'm on my Thinkpad, I feel almost no difference in typing quality. Does it feel different? Yes, but it's comparable. They're super durable. Your data is what it protects most. If it happens to be thrown over a tall building or run over by a truck, the casing will deal with daily wear and tear like it's nothing. On older models, they have utilitarian design, they have way more ports than MacBooks, and they're price comparable with MacBooks when you're not getting them used. The only reason that their value drops more than MacBooks is because more of them are bought than MacBooks, right? So they're flooding the market, supply and demand. There's plenty of supply, and there's not a ton of demand for these. So you can get a ThinkPad that was like $1,000 4 years ago for $100 today. And that's awesome, right? And these things are still very, very powerful. They're $1,000 not because of their physical quality only. They're $1,000 because they have really high-end parts in them. My ThinkPad is a ThinkPad X240. And a friend of mine got it for me. Thanks again, JD. And this computer has a backlit keyboard and an i7, an SSD, 8 gigs of RAM, USB 3 ports, all mini display port. I think it has 2 USB 3 ports. It has Ethernet, and the battery lasts for like 6 to 8 hours on Linux and Windows. And that computer was like $250 like a year or two ago, right? And you can get them for like $100 now. Not necessarily with those exact specs, but you can. I've gotten ThinkPads for under $100, under $60. So that's why I recommend them. The other reason I recommend them is very good Linux compatibility. If you're fed up with Windows and you don't have enough money for a Mac, this is a very comparable option to a Mac in many, many ways, especially as far as the ecosystem thing. You know, install an app called KDE Connect in Linux and on your Android phone if you have one, and it gives you AirDrop functionality. It gives you the synchronization of messages. It allows you to control your computer. Tons of stuff, even more than AirDrop and handoff. And these computers are certified with the 2 biggest Linux companies, Canonical and Red Hat. Now, if you're like, why do you keep pushing this, Robbie? Well, people just like it. Okay, they just like it, and I like sharing information. If I didn't have to have a job, I would just do this. And there have been times when I don't have a job, and I just help people out. And that's what I do. And to be honest, yeah, I mean, I eventually do want to get an ad on here for either selling my own ThinkPads through this site, but I wouldn't remove any of the information if people want to go with someone else, or recommending another company. I used to have a partner that would sell Linux ThinkPads, and unfortunately his business failed because of the area he moved into, not because he wasn't awesome. But the area he moved into was just not what he expected, not enough of an audience of customers to his shop. So it was in person, I think in Virginia. So yeah, that is the ThinkPad buyer's guide. It's not just the used ones. There's if you have more money, there's a little higher budget options down here, Lenovo Watch and Low Gaze, and those actually index the Lenovo site to quickly find really, really, really good deals. And you can change what you're looking for, all the different versions, blah, blah, blah. And if you have questions on what any of these are, you can go back to the buyer's guide and just read it. It seems like a lot of information, but you can just read it by the headings, right? Just read the heading sections that you want to read. You don't have to read all of it, right? It's not actually that much when you just look at the headings. In fact, if you want to find the easiest way to get a ThinkPad, just read this eBay deal finding guide and scroll down to my favorite ThinkPads, pick one of those, and find whichever one is in your price range. You're done. The only other thing you need to know about that, actually, I should say this, there's a recommendations page here. Just read the recommendations, and let's see, there's one other part here that I should mention. Yeah, read the recommendations. Yeah, that's it. The other part is in the eBay buying guide header area. Alright, guys. Well, it's been fun. This is my 3rd live stream within 48 hours. I am doing them because it's an easy way to make content and trying to get more subs. So if you like this, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. I do really, really basic tutorials on like how to use your mouse. And I have like little comedy tech videos that are really cheesy and you probably shouldn't watch them, but they're there on the channel. And you know, I do more advanced stuff like this too. I do run my own servers, so I mean I definitely have the ability to show people how to set up a server. At some point I may do that, but I mostly focus on, ironically, people who probably aren't on YouTube to explain things. Yeah, so stuff like that. And I guess that's it for this time. So I'm going to show you my intro again because it's shiny and I like it and I spent a lot of time on it. And I will see you guys next time. Welcome to Double check. You know, you have to have a decent amount of